On the 23rd of May 2017, I logged into Google Tag Manager and I was shocked to see that my container and all of the tags included in the container are completely wiped out. It was a shock. I'll tell you all about it and what happened and what you need to do next time something like this happens. All and more right after this break. If you're watching my video, you probably heard about the Google Tag Manager bug, which took place on the 23rd of May 2017. A number of Google Tag Manager users have experienced this, where all their container, including the tags and variables, were completely wiped out by an anonymous user. Nobody knows what the issue was, but here's the thing. If this happens next time, you don't have to hit your head hard. I will tell you all you need to do to secure your account, whether it's Google Tag Manager or any other Google account. And also I'll give you a list of best practices that you can do in order to ensure something like this never happens to you. Starting with number one, make sure that you start with enabling the two-factor authentication. That's also known as a level 2 authentication according to Google. You can do that by doing a small search on Google. There you go, two-step verification. I can click on it here and let's get started. The idea of a two-level authentication is basically that you will be able to put in your username and password in addition to getting another secret code from Google through either an application that you download on your phone or through an SMS or also through a certain USB key that you can purchase online. Now we'll do the easy way where we're doing it through a mobile phone. So here it is, I'm at that page and it's telling me, let's get started. This is my username and password that I'm trying to secure. So I'm clicking on next. And it's telling me, let's set up your phone. So it's asking me for my phone number. Let me type it in. And it says, do you want to get codes through text messages or a phone call? I think text message is a little bit low-key, so I'll stick to that. And now it's asking me to confirm that it works. So Google just sent me an SMS. Let's check if we get it. Perfect. I got it. Let me type it in. So it looks like a 6-digit number. I'm typing it in and clicking on next, and as you can see, it's saying validating the PIN. It worked. Turn on the two-step verification. So now every time I need to log in to this account, I need to provide the PIN number, which is made of 6 digits. Now, why are we doing this? Because most of the time, if you have somebody who has hacked your email account through phishing emails, for example, and set up some sort of a malware on your computer, they are able to tap into your password and steal it. And another reason, most of the time, you have set up a really weak password, and that's something we always advise. Try to get into more complex passwords. Try to avoid using passwords that include like sequence of numbers or your birth date or your girlfriend's name, all these very common things that a hacker can guess, you probably want to stay away from. So create a password that is long enough, a password that contains a mix of lower and uppercase letters and also contains some weird characters, a hashtag, the @sign, whatever works for you, you can use it. So I'm keeping this verification on at the time being and connecting it to my phone number. So this is step one. The other thing that you need to do is by going into your Google Tag Manager and making sure that you export your container. It's very important. When this happened to me, I did not have the latest copy of the exported container from Google Tag Manager. It's very important. Every time you publish a new version of your container, you can remember or keep note that you need to save it either locally or you can put it in the cloud. The way it works is you select your container. So here we are. Now that my container is backed up and back running, I can click on the container to get into it and select the workspace that I want to work with, or the workspace that I want to back up, and click on the admin. As you can see here, there is the option to export container, and this is exactly what you need to do. When you click this, it asks me whether I want to choose the whole workspace, meaning all of the elements contained in the container, or a specific version if you want to go back in time and save a previous copy. Obviously, I want the latest one. So what I'm going to do is select my default workspace right here. And it automatically shows me a JSON file, which is nothing but the way to create all of my tags and all of my triggers and variables in one go. It's all saved in a JSON file, and as you can see here, I'm going to save it to my computer. Perfect. When you have this locally, you can upload it to a cloud service if you want, or if you want to keep it low-key, keep it on your computer, that's fine, but just make sure you have a copy of it. Another thing you want to ensure is that you remember your account ID with GTM, and that is your ID. Basically, it starts with GTM, and then it has all this combination of letters and numbers. It's very important that you keep track of this. It's found here as well. So if I have multiple containers, let me go to my workspace. And let me see, if I go one step back, I can go to another container right here. And you can see your container ID right on this page. It's perfect. Each container under a different account obviously has a different container ID. So that's very important, and you might want to keep track and remember your container name, because if you chat with Google and you're trying to retrieve a certain account, they'll probably ask you for your container ID and also for your container name, either or. So keep those saved or noted down somewhere digitally. Now, the third recommendation and best practice that I recommend to do is to put an alert inside of Google Analytics. This alert will fire every time your visits, your page views drop to a certain minimum. That's important because most likely you have Google Tag Manager connected to your Google Analytics, and if Google Tag Manager is working fine, then your Google Analytics is firing properly. But if something goes wrong, then your visits will, or your page views will drop dramatically. And that's what we'll do. We'll put a trigger. That way we are alerted every time our visits drop. Then it means something has gone wrong. If I had that set up earlier, I was able to detect probably that something went wrong with my GTM account, and I could have recovered earlier than waiting for the whole day, because though Google team worked really hard on retrieving all the accounts, they did take some time, and it took a number of hours. In the world of marketing, even 1 hour can make you lose a lot of business. So that's very important. You need to be back on track as soon as possible. If something like this happens, you cannot just sit and wait. The recommendation is to create a trigger. Let's go ahead inside of Google Analytics and see how we can create a trigger. The idea is simple. All we have to do, first of all, is navigate to our admin by clicking at the lowest, at the bottom left-hand side corner, and that will take us into our analytics administration. The next thing you have to do is to click on custom alerts. Let's find out custom alerts. As you can see here under the view, I'm going to scroll back up here and says new alert. Great, I'll give it a name, and let me say the name low page views. Let's see, apply to the view that I'm in. That's fine. And it's going to be monitored on daily basis. And here's the nice thing. You can decide to send an email that will be triggered. Let's see. 0 email addresses. So I can add a new email address. Let me add one. Let me say gate30.com@gmail.com. All right, perfect, that's my email. I can also set up a mobile phone SMS, which is great. You can receive text messages instantaneously if my page views drop to a certain minimum. Now, what is the minimum? Let me see if I want to set up, let's see, 94920. It's asking me to verify my phone, so let's see. It's another level of verification. Just Google wants to ensure that I'm using an email address that I have control of. Google wants to ensure that I'm using a phone number that is a legitimate phone number that I actually own. So here you go. Alright, so my phone has been verified. I'm closing this, and now I'm able to check this box in order to receive SMS message. The next thing is the condition. What conditions need to be met in order for us to receive the alert? So, first of all, it applies to all traffic. That's good. No changes here. And I can say anything I want. I can say if my sessions drop to a certain minimum, or if my page views drop to a certain minimum. Now, for me, it really doesn't matter. It's pretty much both are the same. So let's see. If it decreases by more than, let's say, 95%, and same day in the previous week, or the previous day, or same day in the previous year. Well, previous year comparisons are not really that accurate, and I think I'll keep it at the default, which is previous week. That makes more sense than a previous day, and save the alert. Let's see. Great, low page views. And you might want to make a change. I'm going to make a small change and just make sure to type in the name of the website. That way I know the alert came in regards to which particular domain. That's great. So here we go. This is another way to protecting your account and also ensuring that you're on top of things in an automated fashion. You probably don't want to go every day and check your page views, but this alert will help you a lot anytime something strange or something wrong goes with your website. I think that's about it in terms of my recommendations. One of the things that I want to note is if you happen to have an export of your JSON file, And if you had applied and imported that one on the day that, on the catastrophic day where you lost your container, what happened is when Google recovered the accounts, then you'll probably get your container removed, and the previous one, for the one that took place a few hours or 24, or I don't know, 20 hours before this catastrophe happened, that's the markup where they backed up all the containers. So it might not work, but it's recommended that at least you have it. So in worst case scenarios, you can actually import it into a different container and do your testing over there. Remember, you're supposed to have 3 workspaces, one as a sandbox where you do your testing, one for your development, and also one for production. So you can either import it into your development or your sandbox, and you can take it from there. You can see what tags or scripts are missing, and you can look into all the variables that were imported that time, because you really might not have any idea what scripts you created. And I doubt that you would have documented them in a Word document by going through steps. We live in a very fast world. As developers, you probably are on the run to create things, update things on the go, and that's why workspaces have version control in them. So I would doubt that you would have a manual way of documentation. So by doing the export of your whole container on regular basis, you're at least safeguarding this information bucketed in one place for you to make use of later. I know I talked a lot, but I hope this talk was useful, and we'll be back with more videos around Google Tag Manager. I know I've been getting a lot of requests to go back into Google Tag Manager, and I will, but at the same time I promise you more videos around Google Analytics, and also a surprise coming up soon your way, Google Data Studio. It's a great tool. I'm very excited to start a new tutorial with different videos for beginners and intermediate fans and followers. So follow me on actually on YouTube and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget, like this video. My name is Danny, and I will see you in another video. Take care.